In this section, we will be looking at the hallmarks of cancer. In year 2000, two researchers, Hanahan and Weinberg, described 6 traits of cancer, which they called the hallmarks of cancer. They are self-sufficiency in growth signals, insensitivity to anti-growth signals, evading apoptosis, limitless replicative potential, inducing angiogenesis, and tissue invasion and metastasis. In year 2011, two enabling characteristics underlying these hallmarks were described, which are inflammation and genome instability. Two newer emerging hallmarks were also added to the list, evading the immune system and deregulating metabolism. Let's take a look at these hallmarks in more detail. Self-sufficiency in growth signals means that cancer cells do not need stimulation from external signals to multiply. Cancer cells can activate their own signaling pathways to become self-sufficient in providing their own growth signals. In normal cells, there are proto-oncogenes, which are normal genes that regulate cell growth. When normal cells receive signals from growth factors, a cascade of signaling is activated in the cell, which results in cell division. When proto-oncogenes are mutated or amplified, they can turn into oncogenes, which cause the cell to become cancerous. Cancer cells are able to generate their own growth signals in the absence of growth factors, resulting in uncontrolled cell division. There are more than 100 known oncogenes that can contribute to the development of cancer. These are two well-known examples. HER2/neu is a receptor that is present in normal cells. However, in some breast cancers, this receptor is overexpressed. BCR-ABL is an oncogene in chronic myelocytic leukemia, which is formed from the translocation of two genes from chromosome 9 and chromosome 22. This results in an abnormal gene. The second hallmark of cancer, insensitivity to anti-growth signals, means that cancers can ignore normal signaling that limits the growth of cells. One example of anti-growth signals is contact inhibition. When normal cells contact each other, they receive a signal to stop growing as the space is already fully occupied. However, cancer cells can ignore this contact inhibition. They continue dividing even when the space is already full and the cells are in contact with one another. The third hallmark of cancer is evading apoptosis. Apoptosis is programmed cell death or cellular suicide, and this is activated when there is irreparable DNA damage or other cellular stresses present in the cell. Even though cancer cells are obviously mutated, their DNA is damaged, they do not activate apoptosis. The fourth hallmark of cancer is limitless replicative potential. Normal cells will grow old and die after a certain number of cell divisions. However, cancer cells can divide indefinitely and are said to be immortal. The fifth hallmark of cancer is inducing angiogenesis. Angiogenesis is the formation of new blood vessels. In this diagram, you can see that the tumor secretes angiogenic factors, which causes new blood vessels to grow towards it. These new blood vessels will then feed the tumor with oxygen and nutrients. The sixth hallmark of cancer is tissue invasion and metastasis. Cancer cells will start by invading into the surrounding tissue. Once they enter the blood vessels or lymphatic system, they can then travel to reach a distant organ and form a new tumor there. An emerging hallmark of cancer is deregulating metabolism, which means many cancer cells use abnormal metabolic pathways to generate energy. In normal cells, under aerobic conditions, cells generate energy by breaking down glucose to pyruvate via glycolysis, followed by oxidative phosphorylation in the mitochondria. Under anaerobic conditions where there is not enough oxygen, glycolysis is favored and lactic acid is produced. However, many cancer cells rely mainly on glycolysis to generate energy, even in the presence of oxygen. This is termed the Warburg effect or aerobic glycolysis. However, how this switch in metabolism actually benefits cancer cells is still being researched and debated. Another emerging hallmark of cancer is evading the immune system. The immune system usually detects and kills abnormal cells. However, cancer cells have somehow managed to avoid detection and killing by the immune system. Points 9 and 10 are enabling characteristics. So one enabling characteristic is genome instability, which means the increased tendency of the genome to become altered during cell division. As a result, cancer cells generally have multiple genetic mutations, and this will worsen as the disease progresses because the cancer cells will keep accumulating more and more mutations. Finally, another enabling characteristic is inflammation. We have seen that chronic inflammation can induce many types of cancers.